X's and O's with LeRoy Butler is brought to you by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino.
Hello everyone, welcome to X's and O's with LeRoy Butler, and we are going to take a look at the San Francisco game and your favorite play. Yes.
Okay.
The one that made you walk out of the room for a minute.
Man.
This is the George Kittle 61-yard touchdown
Okay,
play.
we get it.
All right. And we got a lot of guys in purple today.
Yes.
Some of it good.
Some of
it bad.
Yeah.
But, so this is a 1st and 10 play. It's a third quarter, 3:33. And the Packers had just scored. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking, no.
The momentum has switched a little bit.
Okay. So what we get is a triple tight end formation. Mm-hmm. All right? One running back, one wide receiver. This is a run formation. Right? First and 10. Everybody's thinking run.
Well, yeah. But see, my thing is this. Coaching point.
Okay.
These four guys should never think about run. Never. Unless it's an 8-man front. Mm-hmm. They're playing true quarters.
Right.
So that would mean my mind frame is saying they got 3 tight ends and 1 wide receiver. There's no way one guy can get behind us 4 because we're going to always think pass and everybody's going to stay in their quarters. Right. That's what we call fundamental discipline. Mm-hmm. It don't matter what goes on. If it is a run, say it is a run, I got a lot of guys up here to take care of the run. Okay. But say, for instance, it is a run and it breaks through. My job is to line up again.
Yeah, right.
You have to stop the plane. Forget about the train.
Yeah. Let's not forget, they're on the San Francisco side of the field.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is give up a big – you could give up a first down and live another day.
Absolutely.
Just don't give up a touchdown.
Right.
Okay.
And start the motion for me, because I think that would kind of throw people off, because it was a pretty good motion.
We've seen this. We saw Kansas City do this. We see San Francisco do this all the time.
Yep.
And you know that there's always action in the San Francisco.
Yes, it is. They move more than any team you've ever played. A guy's always moving around.
So I'll just kind of get it started. So what it turns out is that it just looks like a wide zone play.
Yep, zone block is
everybody's coming this way, okay?
Right.
Now, there's a couple of wrinkles to it, and I'll let you start out.
Yeah, because what you have to have is have your tight end just kind of check and then go across. But before that happens, George Kittle comes up like he's blocking. And your rookie, this was targeted for him. Mm-hmm. He just attacks the line of scrimmage. Right. Again, you're in quarters. Once he attacks the line of scrimmage, if you're Garoppolo, once you see this action and you come around here, you thinking, okay, if one of these guys bite, this is just like the coaches drew it up. Now, Jair Alexander's in his quarters, he's fine. But what happens is Amos also attacks the line of scrimmage. So when he attacks the line of scrimmage, now the backers, they have to do that. Once he attacks the line of scrimmage, instead of staying in his quarter, he just loops on to the tight end.
Right.
And we'll show it in the video in a moment. But what happens is once George Kittle comes off and he's deep, now the only one deep is Kevin King. Kevin King was fine for the most part. That's his quarter.
Right.
Because if in a perfect world, if the Savage was back, fine. He would take this crosser, and then he would get help over here, and they just kind of trade off.
Or, since this guy is coming into his quarter, right?
Yes.
This could be his guy.
He could take it.
Correct.
And now Amos will be back here waiting for
Kittle
that.
To run that route.
That's how, on the defensive side, you draw it up.
Right. And at the
he's going
very
to somebody,
worst, 23 is out
if he
there.
comes all the way over,
that's not his
get
responsibility, though, really, right?
But George Kittle runs a route, and we'll show you in a minute.
But you also pointed out, I believe it was 88 who blocked and came off this, and I think Garoppolo was so surprised that this was open.
He was
I
shocked.
think this was his, he had this guy on Preston Smith, and I think he thought this was his play. Or maybe it was 13.
Oh,
it was 13.
It was 13.
I'm sorry, yeah. It was
13
out
came
here.
all the way open, and he was wide open.
Right. And
Yep.
he's lined up against 91.
Right.
And so I think that's where Garoppolo wanted to go, and then he's like, wow, both safeties vacated?
Yes.
I think I'll throw it deep.
And it was shocking because, again, he ran like a corner post. And when he was there, you could see Jimmy Garoppolo. He's so surprised when he squared up to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You're right, because he was going to throw it to 13. He said, oh, man, there it is. And the coaches were telling him, please let them be in quarters.
Yeah.
So they ran it in the part of the field where on their sheet they're saying that's when the Packers are in quarters.
Yeah.
If they're in a deep third, like a third, it may not work.
Right.
Now you got to hit the deep over here.
Yeah.
So we got to watch this on video because this is amazing.
Just to see it, you have to see it on video. Okay.
See, right there, Savage is too tight.
Okay, so
He's too tight.
There you have Kittle, identified, and you have the two safeties identified. They're looking at the tight ends.
Now
Each
Amos
one-
right there, he's fine.
Right.
He got great depth. He's fine. But coaching point for all safeties: your first step should be back, never forward.
Okay.
Because if you come forward, it's hard to react. You can always come up. That's why go back first, and then you'll be able to see what this play looks like.
Okay, then we go from there. And now here's the action. Okay, so safeties still got their eyes on the tight ends and still in the same place, even though Savage is a little tight. They're still okay, and you see the quarters. There's the lines. We've got the field divided in 4.
Right.
Okay, now you're going to see with the action, the linebackers have to keep their eyes on that, right? The inside guys got to play that handoff. Is that correct?
Yes, and another thing would tell me is pass because the linemen are not coming downfield blocking. That's pass blocking.
Yeah.
They just turn like it was like a play action.
Okay.
It's a 2-man route, also with a third man, what we call a leakage route, with 13 coming all the way over from the other side.
Okay.
Now again,
here we go with
you're
the-
okay at this point, but everybody must stay in their quarters.
Right.
You got 4 guys to cover 2.
Now let's watch that tight end at the top come towards. He's actually, like you said, they're going to crisscross with Kittle, and Kittle's at the bottom, and you see the two safeties are highlighted, and this is where Amos starts chasing, right?
Right.
He's chasing that tight end, and now you see he's in the middle of the field, so he's out of his quarter, right?
Yep, he should just stay in his quarter, but you never cross into somebody else's quarter.
He's into Savage's quarter.
Right.
And Savage is in a bad place because he bit so hard on the run. If he stays back, right, he can cover that tight end a little easier.
Oh, easy. I mean, he'll just run right into him.
Now, is Kevin King okay here?
Kevin King is perfect because if anybody runs, no one right now is in his quarter.
Okay, he's at the bottom.
He's fine.
Okay.
He's fine. Now, here's where it gets a little dicey. At that point, he's still fine. Kevin King is fine because George Kittle seems like he's going in his quarter.
Right.
But he doesn't. He makes a great shake route right at the top. Because in your mind, Kevin King saying, that's fine, go that way because I got 3 guys on that side. I got to make sure I'm on my side. And that's a great job with that box.
Is that technique, though, okay? Or
it's not bad, and it's not great.
Okay.
But it's not bad. But he's actually going to his quarter.
Okay.
But then when the route surveys up, you never should have both safeties on the same side.
Right.
It just should never happen. And the only way that can happen is the undisciplined part of, okay, you bit on the fake, and it happens. But Kevin King, again, on television, people think this is Kevin King's fault, but it's not.
Well, look at where the two safeties are.
George Kittle is actually going to catch that ball in Jair Alexander's quarter.
Yeah.
But Alexander is out of the play, so it doesn't really matter, really. But if he was coming back deep, because right now he has nobody to cover.
He's looking, he's sort of looking for work now. Now he sees Garoppolo, and he's going to go give it chase. But you can't blame this on him, I don't think.
No, not at all. I mean, it'll be hard to even do that.
Okay, and so now you'll see Kittle just take it up the field, and it's, Katie bar the door.
Yep, and this kind of plays that before the play,
there he goes for.
You say, how can a tight end get behind 4 guys?
Yep.
And that would drive coaches bonkers.
Yep.
It really does.
And there's Alexander making a run at it, but that's about the best he's going to do.
It's just good hustle.
Back to the board,
Yeah.
this so much reminded me of that Kansas City play.
Yes.
Where, Savage on that one, I think he bite on the guy who was crossing, I think. And Travis Kelce did the exact same thing. Ran right into the...
He got to stop. Don't be so...
Or maybe
only
it
be
was
aggressive.
Amos. I can't remember who it was, but...
Both safeties. You're too aggressive.
Yeah.
You got to... They call you safety for a reason, because behind you is a touchdown.
Yeah.
The coaches have to help these guys to know when to be aggressive.
Yeah.
When you got quarters and you got a running formation, that don't mean be aggressive. That means if the ball breaks, you have to make a tackle. But you don't need to run up here to make a tackle for a 2-yard gain.
Yeah.
They got guys up there for that.
Yeah. That's a rookie mistake.
Protect the plane.
What hurts is, they're targeting him, but this isn't as bad a play if Amos doesn't make a mistake too by coming over. So it's a combination.
Safeties have to be synchronized.
Yeah.
And you have to communicate. You have to communicate, because this should never happen. But now on TV, everybody's screaming at Kevin King, but it's not his play.
Yeah,
That's why you have to watch X and O to find out the real truth.
Right, you always want to keep an eye on it.
It's not on Kevin King. Your two safeties did not play that properly, and that's the reason why that happened.
Okay, now we're going to go over to the offensive side and look at more carnage.
Yeah.
Okay, so we picked out this play. I mean, this was just a complete
Oh, you went jazz
jailbreak.
on this.
Yeah, jailbreak to Aaron Rodgers. 3rd and 8 on the 28th, second quarter. This was a big play because it set up the last touchdown for San Francisco right before the half. So Packers go with what essentially is 4 wide receivers. It's 3 receivers here and Jimmy Graham, who's a wide
you got
receiver.
trips away.
And you got Jamal Williams here.
Yeah.
The 49ers are, so I guess you could call it a blitz look, because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in the box. Plus, even a safety was closer than this, and then he bailed out.
Yeah. Now, one thing I try to point out, that if it were me, not saying what their offense would do, if I were coaching, I would teach my quarterbacks to begin in the chess game with the middle linebacker. If he walks up and he's over my center, if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, I don't know if I'll have the numbers or not, but I'm checking this to a draw or some kind of run in the middle. They have nobody in the middle. I can get a double team here and cut this guy off and run it. Say I don't get it, it's 5 yards, that's fine. Then I'll be able to punt, but I don't like the numbers of this to do it. Now, if he backs up here, I'll run my passing play. If he's kind of in between, I'll just lock onto my passing play, that's fine. But if he lines up there, and I've seen this on film, that when he's up there, they're going to run these kind of games that sometimes they can be difficult, especially when I have a reserved end. Now, Balaga's in, it don't matter. I'll just run my stuff. But when Balaga's out, I'm going to give the guys some tools to survive. We're going to start to run this ball when they give us this front, because they have nobody in the middle. And when they run these games, if we catch a nice trap play, it can go to the house. So, and that's the kind of stuff you have to put on film to let people know that you're not going to just tee off on us every time you line up these guys like this. We're going to run this football and keep you guessing.
So what struck me about this play was we looked at this play before, well, not this exact play, but we looked at a similar situation that San Francisco got Russell Wilson last week.
Yep.
And if you go back to X's and O's, you can see it.
That's true.
We diagrammed it, and it's the same thing. This middle linebacker coming up here, and essentially what he's doing is setting up a stunt.
Absolutely.
This guy's crashing down, and they're just collapsing the middle. And again, what we showed was that this guy wins inside Fred Warner, who had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he did.
He's really a good player.
And what he wants to do is stay there. Don't try to fight over top. Stay there in that in that little crease and just keep pushing towards the quarterback because it really collapsed the pocket. Now, we talked about something. They want to create all this diversion so they can get one-on-one with Bosa and Light. That's why they want to do that.
Yeah.
If one of these guys come free, great. But we want our best pass rusher on your backup offensive tackle. Now, that's going to happen a lot of plays. That's why sometimes if you recognize it, okay, listen, when they do this again, if the middle linebacker comes over the nose, puts his hand down or stand, doesn't matter, we're going to check to a draw, trap, or one of our best running plays to kind of get out and survive the down.
You could say, hey, why don't you move Jamal Williams there to help?
You could do that too.
Except that Rodgers is playing the numbers right. I mean, you look at what's the strength, and the strength is over here because of this guy. Am I not?
Yes.
Am I
yes.
right?
Yep.
So he's got to leave him in case he comes, correct?
Right. Yep.
So
and see, that's the thing.
I'm thinking that's why he left
No, that's
him
a good
over
point.
there.
That's a great point. That's why if you run a trap or something on this side, you don't even have to block him. You can cut him off with David Bakhtiari. But to stay to your point, and you keep the pass on, my clock in my head has to go off to say, I got to get this ball out.
Yeah.
And we're going to show the video to see, was anybody open? Because people do ask that question.
Right. Okay.
Is Aaron holding on it too long, or is it no one open?
Right.
And since Devontae Adams came back, it seems like the continuity is off. Yeah. We've had people to say, should you even trade him? And I say those people need to have their head examined.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To say, no, you keep your best players, but you have to find ways to get him the ball within the integrity of the offense.
Right. Okay, so here we go. We'll start out, and there you see the middle linebacker, Warner, right over the center. The safety is up, so that's another threat, I guess.
So you know there's some kind of pressure has come.
Yeah, look at all those guys in the box. Okay, so here we go. And if you watch 54, he's going to crash that A gap on the left. There's Bosa, just to give you an idea that he's up against Light. And there he is. I think if you go back and look at that Seattle tape we had, same thing. He's squeezing between that gap to open up. And if he can get through, he will. But his main idea there is to occupy two blockers so that 91 can get around.
And even San Francisco got called for holding when they kind of hold the linemen sometimes so they can run these games.
Yeah, right. They're good at
we used to do that in the 90s, allegedly.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Gilbert
I just
Brown
gave us
did that a lot.
allegedly.
All right. So
it was more Santana, allegedly. Don't tell Santana I said it.
And there you go. So they just overran him. And you can see from the photos of Rodgers, everybody's getting pushed back into his lap. And there's Bosa coming around the edge. And actually, Light did okay on that. I mean, there's just nowhere for Rodgers to step up because they crashed the middle.
They collapsed the pocket. And then at that point, you just try not to fumble the ball, although the ball I think came out late, but he was already down.
Yeah.
Again, people are going to want to know, is anybody open?
Right.
So we're going to help you just squash that narrative real quick. So here it is, basically the play from a nice coach's copy, and you'll be able to see that when it's time to throw the ball, each guy is pretty much covered, okay? And again, now down all the way at the bottom, you can see, I think it has Geronimo Ellison.
Scantling.
Oh, that's Scantling. I'm sorry. And next thing you know, that's a long throw, but he's look like he's looking over the middle for one of the guys, the two guys in the inside of the field. And immediately, if you're not wide open, you got to either throw a guy open or you just got to go to your check down. But the problem is, San Francisco has a guy covering the check down.
Yeah,
see the guy right at the 30-yard line? He's going toward the line of scrimmage, so you won't throw the ball to the check down after the guy chips.
There's nothing there. I mean, Scantling at the bottom is open, but he can't. That's a long, long throw, and you risk Sherman picking that off, jumping that route, and he really doesn't have enough time. So, I mean, that's just complete total domination.
And back to the board for a minute. One thing I said earlier, in the 90s, we used to have mechanisms. We were talking about if a guy comes up, you run the ball. These guys will have what we call sight adjust. If this guy blitz, then that guy will just turn and look, you throw it to him. If this guy blitz, this guy would turn, you would throw it to him. If this guy run those corner blitzes, you would just stop right there and you would throw it to him. And the same thing here, if this guy blitz, you would just stop right there. It doesn't seem like to me that the Packers have that built in, like the West Coast offense. This was always a slant. If this guy blitz, it's a slant. If you're out there looking and your guy goes, you just hook up right there.
Yeah.
And so if the safety is covering you, make a guy miss, that's a touchdown.
We saw
so I think
that
they need to build in more side adjustments.
We saw that on the play in which Rodgers fumbled, where Devontae Adams
he waved and said this guy's coming. And just throw the ball there, that's the soft spot. Yeah. So moving forward, coaching point for the offensive line and for the receivers, if these guys are continue to blitz from outside, that's fine. You just stop. If your guy blitzes, you stop right there, you catch the ball, it won't be no more pressure as far as that, because you're getting your ball to your receiver one-on-one with a safety, and that can be a big play.
Yep. Okay, well, hopefully you picked something up from that. And
well, I picked up for it. But I want to thank Potawatomi Hotel and Casino for sponsoring us. We really appreciate it.
Yep. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week after the Giants game. Have a happy Thanksgiving,
happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you.